Hello and welcome to the Free Cheese episode 455. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Matt Zellner.
Hello.
Mark Augustiniak.
What's up?
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. It's season 10, episode 20. 20. We're talking NHL Stanley Cup all season 10. We take one game, talk about it for an episode, rank it on a big old list called The List that you can read alongside over on thefreecheese.com/The List. More on NHL Stanley Cup shortly. I don't have an icebreaker for this week. I didn't think of one.
That ice can't be broken. There's hockey players on it.
That's a good point. We don't want to break the ice this week, right? We got to leave them up on the ice. Let me ask you this. If there's a single song that you think is... I think there are some songs that are kind of obviously... These are meant to be played in a stadium, right?
Okay.
But what is specifically a hockey song to you?
Ooh.
Unfortunately, NWK's Party
do
Hard.
Oh, no, that's not unfortunate. Gee, I thought you were going to say
Well,
something
no,
terrible
it
like
is.
Imagine Dragons. I was going to stop and then drive to your house.
No. I say that unfortunately because that is the Pittsburgh Penguins song that they play when they score.
Okay.
So there's some negative connotation with it.
Matt, here's the thing. I understand the rivalry. I get it. But you got to pull yourself out of it for a second and remember the Penguins have fantastic color scheme, top-notch mascot, and...
Really? You like yellow and black?
Yeah, dude.
Ew.
Best of the best.
Ew.
Way better than red, white, and blue and a building.
We have the retro jerseys this year brought back the Screaming Eagle. Thank you very much. I can bring it out that jersey if you want to. Actually, the last few jerseys that I bought don't have the Capitol building on it.
Even still. DC does not have great... No, the Wizards are the only... But even that, they've destroyed the cool logo and unique color scheme in favor of something more boring.
That's because DC Sports, though. Market team.
I know. Let me get the Baltimore Rats, baby. Mark, what is a song you think makes sense for...
Bad Blood by Taylor Swift.
That's a pretty good, yeah.
Psych. It's Princess of the Universe by Queen.
That's very fitting. So nobody went with Dragula, which was my number one song for anything.
Well,
that should be
it's the all-around number one.
Yeah.
Couldn't
They
take
just
it.
play that when hockey fights happen.
Oh, I mean, come on. I mean, Hot Dog, Limp Bizkit.
Usually, Capital One Arena, the home of the Washington Capitals and your Washington Wizards, usually when a fight breaks out, I think they shatter the glass. I'm not lying.
As they should, dude. I mean, that's the way to do it.
They play a lot of wrestling music, I've seen as well. Wrestling music oddly works.
I can see that.
Yeah. For some reason, Saliva's Click Click Boom came to mind.
I think, yeah,
sure.
That's a good...
Don't know why. It just figured it would fit that scene.
Just go.
It's basically like, look, if there's a dad with a pickup truck taking his family to the Rita's Italian Ice in the strip mall, what's he cranking as he wears his sunglasses and thinks he looks like Hammerhead from Twisted Metal?
Action by Paraman 5000.
There you go, right? All of these answers are what they play at hockey games.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Similar to your local wrestling show.
Yes, very much so.
Also, like, another good all-around, like, song answer, like, with Dragula is Separate Ways by Journey.
Oh,
Dude,
that's just a
what a
good
bop.
song. like
It's just like
period.
if you're announcing anybody and like that's their intro, just that fucking you hear that synth. It's like, okay.
And easily, I mean, that is S tier music video. I don't think people have revisited that music video enough. I think that song is starting to get the recognition it has so long deserved. I don't think most folks have revisited the music video, which if you're one of them and you're saying, I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I know
you
I
need
haven't.
to do that today.
I was just going to say, I think I prove your point because I do not know that music video.
Buddy, it's so dumb. That
Maybe
and the
Is that the one where they're just outside of like
Yeah.
some like fucking
they're in a warehouse yard or something. They're
Yeah.
in like a
full of those
Very
containers?
loud in my ear. I just
yep
know it's
shipping
coming.
container yard thing, and
Shipping
a
container
girl that
thing.
doesn't want to date any of them is walking by them as they play like air instruments,
Yeah.
and oh my god, it's so good. It's the worst thing in the world.
They saved so
That
much
one-
money.
There's also Faithfully. That music video just has like the whole music video is seemingly about how Steve Perry doesn't want to shave his mustache but eventually does. Like that's the subtext of the video. What a fantastic time.
Yeah, I'm like skimming through this. Obviously, I'm not watching it all, but skimming through it, they literally shot this in 2 hours.
I don't even think it took them that long, dude. This is a single take.
Yeah, like how long's that song?
Well, they had to shoot 2 hours because they went inside the warehouse to shoot that last scene in the bed.
Yeah, but they were done in 90. I bet you. They stopped for Cokes and styrofoam cups, and then they went inside that warehouse, finished up shooting for the day.
What kind of coke?
She took the check and left.
What kind of coke? Because that's probably relevant.
Whatever. Whatever was nearby.
Oh, I meant liquid or...
I know what you meant.
Oh, okay.
I answered the question appropriately.
OG formula.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
Best of
Both
both
worlds.
NHL Stanley Cup. We're recording this episode in celebration of the actual Stanley Cup finals coming up here in the National Hockey League. But the game we're talking about first released in November 1993. We don't have an exact release date because we didn't do that back then. But it was released on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Side note, what's your guys' shorthand? I don't know if we've revisited this on the podcast ever. If you were going to not say the full Super Nintendo Entertainment System, what's your shorthand reference?
SNES.
That's what I would say before learning SNES. So I think I switched between the two, but SNES was my primary.
Yeah, I think SNES is the one that makes sense. I could maybe do Super NES.
I think
like that
I
feels
might
okay.
have used that before too, but not as often.
Yeah. And then, of course, like...
But like every time I say Super Nintendo, how can
Super
you
Nintendo's...
how can you not say Sega Genesis afterwards?
yeah.
You just the song just kicks in.
Yeah, I also call this the not Genesis, but that's just me. This was developed by Sculptured Software and published by Nintendo. Back with the box quote. Hard-hitting, body-checking video hockey like you've never seen before.
That's true.
The Montreal Canadiens, LA Kings, Toronto Maple Leafs, Detroit Red Wings. These are just a few of hockey's elite teams that hit the ice in a quest for sport's most prestigious trophy in NHL Stanley Cup. This is the game as it's meant to be played. Hard-hitting and lightning fast. Bone-jarring yet graceful. NHL Stanley Cup's unique, super realistic, three-dimensional viewpoint on the action puts you in center ice, always on the puck, always in the play. The Stanley Cup is waiting to be won. Do you have the guts to take the glory?
Wow.
Hockey. So, Mark, you put this one on the list for us.
Did I?
No. No, but we do have one coming up that was a mark pick that may surprise you all. Stay tuned in a couple of weeks. No, Matt, this one hit the list for you, and I think specifically because this, well, I don't know. Was this your childhood hockey game?
This is the childhood hockey game. This is the first one. This is the first and probably the only one on SNES that I have.
I think before we even jump into some of the specifics of the game, I kind of want to jump into the questions I have for you regarding this game.
Okay.
Like, so was this because I think with this game, especially knowing where you are with your infatuation with hockey, I think it's important that we kind of start the conversation with a conversation about Matt rather than the game, right?
Okay.
So is this the first hockey game for Matt?
Yeah. I'm going to, yes.
And then, like, so I guess, would you say that hockey is your favorite sport?
That's so tough. Yeah, it's like, it's a throw up between baseball and, honestly, it's the three of them. Baseball, hockey, and football. They all have their advantages, disadvantages. But, like, if you're going to say, hey, let's go to an event, and I have the option, and I think you actually do have that option around September, where, no, it'd be October probably, where you could see baseball, hockey, or football. In person, I would say hockey. 9 times out of 10, unless it's a terrible.
Okay, let me ask you
matchup.
this. I just got a phone call from NBC Sports. We've just learned that they're going to, we're not sure which one yet, but 2 of those 3 sports are coming to an end. They're going to keep one of them around, but there will not be a professional league. They're going to be dissolved. Which one makes you the most sad to hear that it's not going to exist anymore?
I don't know. I really don't know. Because hockey, you kind of got a taste of that with the lockout in like early, I forget what year it was, like 2004 or so. I honestly, that's such a tough question.
I'm just trying to see if hockey is truly your favorite sport.
It's all 3 of them, like, because it's perfect because they all kind of come in waves, right? Like, I might be off in the beginning of the year because football is taking over, but once like hockey kind of lives on from January past football through June. I know there overlaps baseball, but then baseball becomes the summer thing, and it's like a cyclical thing. So, like, right now, like, this is the best hockey you'll see all year is right now in the playoffs. It's just a different beast, and it's the best games in the world. So, like, I am more inclined to throw in a hockey game during the playoffs than I am probably your average MLB game. But then I say the same thing about playoff baseball. It's a different beast. And then I just like generally watching football on Sundays. I think it's just more of a cultural thing than anything else. I mean, I do like the Ravens a lot, of course, but I can sit on the couch and watch football all day on Sunday. But I think the part of the appeal of that is this once a week. I don't have this like baseball. You can have like you can have 7 games, usually 6. The hockey probably good for at least 1, probably 2 or 3. I don't know. So football is in a different beast just because of the way the schedule is. But I don't know. I truly can't pick between the 3 of them. I've never been a basketball fan, but I will throw in a playoff game every once in a while.
Regardless, we know that hockey is at least a favorite of the sorts. And so is this the game that did that, or was it a later game? Was it something else entirely?
Household. My dad played in like, I don't want to call it beer leagues, but, you know, like those types of like rec leagues with some friends of his from work and stuff. And, you know, he just Caps fan through and through. So I would stay up, watch some hockey games with him, and I got into it, especially come playoff time, because he kind of seemed to always have it on, just watching whatever. So, mostly because of just watching it and embracing it and being around it a lot.
Is there, and I guess, is there a game since NHL Stanley Cup that, or is this the one that when you think of like hockey game, like is this the game for you, or is it something else?
Not necessarily. I think the one I think of is like early 2000s NHL when they were just ridiculously arcadey, or honestly, I know we already had an ESPN game on this list, but ESPN NHL hockey was also a very good one. It was like the first semi one that I really appreciated, and I found I kind of wanted more of that than necessarily arcade. Those early NHL like 2001, 99, like around there, like they just have stupid mechanics and stuff like that. A lot of hard hitting and whatever, but I would say probably those games more so than this one I think of, but this is the first one. So,
Mark, did you ever get into hockey?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, like I would play street hockey when I was little, and that ended very quickly after my opponent at the face-off, like, end of the stick went right into my mouth, and I had like this big bruise on my mouth, and it was picture day the next day.
Nice.
I gotta find that photo, but my mom was thrilled. But
that's one of those perfect makeup day photo opportunities, though, right? Life Touch screwed up.
Dude, that background was sick. Not only was there lasers, but there was hot air balloons for some reason.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
and a bruised face.
Yeah, that one's just smiling so big. But I never hated hockey. I never.
What sport do you hate?
What sport do I hate?
You won't offend me if you say baseball. Trust me, I'll be the first one to tell you it is the most boring game from time to time.
Like, I don't...
I hate golf more than baseball.
I was about to say, like, I don't watch many. Like, I'd rather play the sports than watch them. I'm one of those. Yeah. But, yeah, golf, I would not want to watch. Or
I don't want golf to exist. Baseball, I still... Like, there are definite moments in my life where I'm like, I want to go to a baseball game with Matt this summer. Like, I just thought that earlier this week as the weather started to break. I was like, I could do that and go get a hot dog.
Sports
$29 Coca-Cola.
Exactly. Like, sports that take place like in an arena or a stadium just have a different vibe, and you don't get that from golf.
But again, I just hate golf principally. I think it's a stupid game.
I like mini golf,
and a waste of space.
I'm like 6 or 7 years away from being tea time.
Don't be that guy.
We
should close golf courses.
Unless you're the
person.
Are you kidding me? The only upside to golf for me would be driving around. I think I could get joy out of that. Just for sightseeing or something.
They put limiters on those. They put a governor on those motors so you can't get real cool with it.
Well, it sounds like they can be taken off, doesn't it?
I saw Johnny Knoxville almost kill himself jumping over a sand dune and then hitting another one. So
took the governor off, dude. I got into hockey. The weirdest thing, you remember when you were a kid and you're dumb and things just kind of happen because you're curious about them?
Well, the only thing that's different is that I'm just not a kid. But
yeah, I'm hairier now, but
the rest is the same.
But like, you'll find yourself infatuated with something where yesterday you had no idea it existed, and then tomorrow it's your entire life and identity. Mm-hmm. I was at the Scholastic Book Fair that we had, and I don't remember what books I was buying or whatever, but I remembered at some point I had this realization that the book fair also sold posters. Mm-hmm. And I remember, for some reason, I don't know, probably because Baltimore, like the closest thing at the time, hockey-wise, that was, and probably because they were pretty big in the 90s, was the Flyers from Philly. But I remember they had an Eric Lindros poster. I never cared about hockey at all. I have no idea what made me, but I saw the poster, bought the poster, brought it home, put it on my wall, and suddenly I was a hockey fan, a Philadelphia Flyers fan, and an Eric Lindros fan. I ended up, for Christmas or something, I got a Lindros stick that, had his little, it was, his signature series or whatever the heck. Then my brother got into it, and we would sit there, we'd tape up the sticks, go play street hockey with him. but then he actually got serious and got into a roller hockey league. And like hockey was the one. Like I think football was on around the house, baseball was occasionally on around the house, but hockey was the one that felt like our sport. You know what I mean? Like it felt like this, I don't know, like football was something that dads watched and hockey was for us. And then of course skateboarding would overtake that when the early 2000s hit. But yeah, I feel like in the 90s, it was a random Eric Lindros poster at a book fair that got us there. And then, for me, I remember strongly playing NHL 94 for the Genesis, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. But like that was another one too, where I would play that a bunch at my sister's, and it was like that, Eric Lindros, the Flyers. I also thought the Flyers logo was just like enigmatic and cool, and then black and orange, in addition to your black and yellow of the Penguins.
See, I like black and orange. I like black and orange.
Halloween.
It's not just because that's the Orioles colors, but I do like black and orange.
Yeah, the Ween has it going for it, but
Agreed.
Which I guess now that we've established our hockey background, a hawk ground, if you will, we can probably talk about the actual NHL Stanley Cup video game for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I think the big thing with this one that I noticed right off the bat is Mode 7 at play. This game is as described on the back of the box. I mean, dude, I don't know how you guys played this, but I played this on the Mister with an 8-bit do SNES Pro, whatever the heck. The one what's got the joystick. It's basically set up like a DualShock. Playing this game with the D-pad mapped to an actual analog stick felt like playing a modern hockey game. And in some regards, better than playing a modern hockey game. But it truly felt 3D. And as I got used to that control system, it really like... This is a really good hockey game. Like, really good hockey game. And this was no shade on you, Matt, but coming into this, my adoration of the EA NHL 94 for the Sega Genesis was like, well, there's no way a game's going to be better than that. And then when I saw that it was 3D, I was like, what are they doing? But the more I got into it and the more games I played and the more that I actually like toyed around with the physics and the way this game is drawn, I think, man, like what a special hockey game.
It's so weird because it doesn't happen until like much later on. I don't think I realized like this game was called NHL Stanley Cup at the time, right? I think that folded into me thinking this was just the EA series and not realizing it. So in like a PS3 NHL game, they brought back like classic NHL. I think it was 94. I have Siri, my HomePod's going off. Hey Siri, stop. Sorry. So when they brought that classic NHL 94 into the regular NHL game, I started playing. And I was like, this is not what I played as a kid. And then I realized after the fact, like, oh, this is like two different things. That's what leads me to this is we're in that weird time where we take the licensing for granted nowadays, of course, unless you don't have a license at all, like whatever. But it is very weird to have a official NHL license game, but then not have the player names because the Players Association does not have. You don't have the license for the Players Association, so you lose the player likeness. And then I think around the same time, I think NHL PA has their own hockey game, but it doesn't have the NHL license. And that's something so weird back in the day that we just take for granted now. So when you're hopping on the ice and you're at the Capitals and you're like, all right, let's look up that roster because none of the names are here.
So I did revisit NHL 94 from my childhood this week. And they do have the names. And they make it a point to let you know they have the names. Which is odd because, like, I don't know. I guess it's studio buzz, right? Like, the other guys don't have that, and you're the game that does have that, so it's marketing or whatever. But, yeah, they lean into that as there's an announcer. There's all this kind of stuff that happens as, like, preamble and whatever. And, like, they cut to, like, key players of the game in that one. And, like, they make it a point. but I don't think it adds anything to the game. In fact, I feel like sometimes that focus took away from actually playing the game, where in NHL Stanley Cup, I got to just play it. I really, really like this game. I mean, do you find, I think especially with your probably expertise in the genre, did you find this one to be particularly challenging? And Mark, I don't know if you found this too, but like, I could not, like, when I played the Genesis game, we were it was tough because actually the Genesis game does a cool thing where pushing left actually shifts the puck left. Like, you have like a real proper stick control before you move the player, which is kind of neat. And then that also lets you aim your shot better for the net. But I found that, in that game, it was much easier to score and be scored on than in Stanley Cup, where I feel like I was ending some 3-period matches where like there was one game I did the other day. It was the Flyers and the Blackhawks, and it was like just barely in the last bit of the third period did I score a goal and happen to win. But otherwise, like, I feel like the first few games I played, they all ended in overtime. It took a while. But yeah, I don't know. Do you feel like this is particularly difficult, or is it the accuracy of it, or what's the ham here?
I remember this game being challenging as a kid. I think I was a little bit better at it this time, but on my revisit, this is my first time playing this game since I was a kid. I have the cart. I don't have access to my Super Nintendo at this very moment. So I had to RetroArch it, unfortunately. But I remember as a kid this being brutal. And that's kind of how I would play this. I would do the season mode, and I would simulate all the season and just kind of play some key games here and there, and then hop in because you can't simulate anymore once you get into the playoffs. You have to play the game. So I would get myself to the playoffs, and then I will probably ultimately lose the best of 7 or whatever. But yeah, I do remember this being difficult. Now, on the revisit, though, I did find I played it a little bit better, especially once I stopped trying to play the game, like just dumping puck, like kind of playing a little bit more legit. I kind of, once I took my gas pedal, like once I stopped trying to play legitimately and just played this as an arcade game for what it's worth, I had more fun, but then 2, I was kind of like just giving pucks on net and I was scoring more. They weren't great. I don't think I had like a method to my madness. I just got more pucks at the net and was scoring.
Did you find this one tough, Mark? Were you low scoring where I was at?
I only scored once, and that's because of a glitch where the goalie knocked the puck into its own goalpost.
Oh, it flipped
Those
over
are
him.
The best.
It was like right by his feet, and I guess when he went to go move or something, it counted as it going in, and that's the only point I ever made.
Sick. I scored for my own net, not with the goalie, but I scored. I was on a. We'll talk about the rules and penalties here momentarily, but I was on a penalty kill, and as you usually do on a penalty kill, you clear the puck instead of carrying it out. I cleared the puck with a slap shot and went right underneath the goalie's legs, and I scored. So I was quite. It's like, hey, look at that.
Let's talk about the rule set. Does this feel accurate to?
Did you play with the rules?
I didn't modify anything. Were they on by default?
No, so I think offsides is the only one by default.
Okay, so offsides, and I know that either on the podcast or on one of the videos we've recorded, I know you explained offsides to me. And I've watched hockey for years. I played hockey games for years. I never understand offsides. And it always drives me nuts when I'm just trying to play the game and I get called for offsides.
So,
offsides. Is that when?
Offsides is the blue line. A player cannot be past the blue line before the puck enters. The puck has to be crossed the blue line first, and then everyone can enter.
Okay. Got it. Now I'm tracking.
There are some caveats about where the puck can be in relation to the paint, because the paint's bigger than the puck. It can get a little weird there where your skates are. But generally, a player cannot be in the zone before the puck. That will be considered offsides. If the puck crosses first and then everyone enters, you are onside and play continues.
Okay. I disagree with it strongly.
Okay.
Still.
You can turn it off, though. You can turn it off in this game.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, but the other stuff, turning it on, you feel like is what? Too harsh? Inaccurate? Or...
It is. I don't think there's... I think they put it in there just to say they had penalties, but, dude, every time you hit, you just went to the box, and it was for ridiculous things. Like, I would do the same animation hit, and I would get called for slashing, high sticking, charging, interference, roughing, and it was the same hit, just randomly doled out. And I played 2 games with the full rule set on. I played more 3-on-3 because the computer was getting called for penalties left and right too. It wasn't just me. Literally any hit, it was penalty. Even the poke check, penalty. It was so bad. So I played more 3-on-3 hockey with the full rule set than I did 5-on-5, 5-on-4.
Oh wow!
It was incredible, and they have this cool, dumb animation or little like image of the player sitting in the box in the top right-hand corner, and like you could see like at all times they had the boxes for both teams up with 2 people in it. Like between my team and the other team, it was fantastic. A lot of open ice, so allowed for some better carrying the puck. You weren't getting hit and losing the puck as much, but what an adventure in those 2 games that had the full rule set on.
Some of those modern NHL games where they straight up have a 3-on-3 mode can be fun. Do you feel like it was more fun to play 3-on-3?
I don't know if it was more fun. It definitely allowed for you to kind of carry the puck, get easier shots on net and stuff. Because sometimes going through the neutral zone, which is like the middle of the ice, got crowded 5-on-5, and I'm sure you guys saw that and were constantly getting hit or losing the puck or whatever if you were passing. But like that is hockey, right? Like sometimes the best play is just to get the puck deep and then just charge in and run over the dude, take the puck and score. So like in a weird way, it's kind of accurate to how real hockey is. Like there's not as more times than not you're getting the puck in deep because neutral zone's clogged up and defense is doing its job. So it's not often you're actually carrying the puck past the blue line with like another player right next to you for some kind of opportunity, chance, play, shot, whatever you want to end up doing with it. So in a weird way, it's kind of accurate to real hockey. So I was doing a lot of dumping and then just going in and running the guy over behind the net, or the goalie was running me over, which I think is the best mechanic in this game. That goalie is the most overpowered dude on the ice. Literally, you could switch to the goalie, run out, and just tackle the guy, and no penalty, nothing, and he just get rid of the puck. What a great defensive strategy that is in this game.
Yeah. That's the one thing, thinking about goalie and that interaction, I find that often when the puck was nearing the goal is often when I'd have a turnover, and that's the one thing I did not like about this game is when you would change possession, that rotation of the camera. And granted, I'm really trying to keep in mind that this is 1993 and one of the earliest examples of a 3D game, but that was tough to,
Did you ever send a puck in deep and it will go all the way around, wrap around the boards? Oh,
that was the other side of it. That was cool. I liked that a lot.
Very disorienting though. It was just whoop, whoop.
It is, but it's a cool effect. But I feel like that moment to moment, especially when you're in a bunch of a crowd of people on the ice, that was tough. Mark, what was your overall impression of NHL Stanley Cup?
Nauseating.
Because of that stuff?
I physically could not focus playing this, and my eyes just couldn't adjust to the constant camera movement. Just the way I was following the puck, and then trying to switch to, I guess, the closest character, but it doesn't snap to the closest character, and then I get launched 20 feet off the screen by some dickhead. And then, so the whole time it's just this camera just always moving. No, it's just constantly moving, and then to the sound of just hearing, and that's it. And that was for an hour. And I just
So Mark played this game for an hour.
yeah. I played this game for an hour. I had a harder time for my eyes to adjust to this than to VR.
It's the like when the puck would keep getting turned over, like in a neutral zone kind of moment, and it just kept voop voop voop. That for sure got me a couple times. Like, what? Stop, Paul, stop.
Yeah, and then just trying to figure out the controls, and I eventually did figure it out by was it third period?
I had to look them up. I couldn't remember what each thing was mapped to.
I had to pull the manual up. I'm sorry. I should have dropped the manual when I looked it up the other day.
I mean, I eventually
it was very
figured
helpful.
it out. Like, if you think about it, like I had to treat it as if I picked this up from like a Blockbuster and some kid kept the booklet, you know?
Yeah,
right.
That happens. So I just treat it like that. I mean, I eventually did learn it. I did start to get used to it, but like, I think this game would have been more beneficial if it was just like the other ones, where it's just like a top-down thing or like a side-scrolling thing. But I guess they really want to sell the visual as like their main key here, to make it stand out from the other hockey games, I guess. Which, I mean, they tried. I mean, for the time, I'm like 5 years old when this game came out. Like, I don't know many games before Star Fox that like attempted anything like this. So like, I guess on a technical front, it is impressive.
Yeah, and it was always like, I mean, like F-Zero is probably the closest thing that would have been earlier than this that would have done the cool Mode 7 stuff. But typically typically Mode 7 and 3D effects were, I don't know, more things that you would see as like, I don't know.
It's weird because
it kind of,
it didn't even feel like Mode 7 to me, because I'm used to Mode 7 being like a smooth 60, and this was like a choppy 30. So it made me just not think of it being Mode 7 for some reason.
But I think the other side of it too is that Mode 7 usually is done for like an effect or like a set piece, where this was, okay, let's do the entire game like this. Is there something, I guess this is probably more for Matt, but I mean, Mark, if you've played more modern things or any other hockey games that you can compare it to, is there something that this game does in particular that other games do not? I guess maybe games of the era, you know, or even up to today. Is there something about this game that makes it unique?
I'm not sure, because I have a very limited experience with hockey games. Like I played a few on like the 64, and mostly just try to get in the fights. I didn't really play the game.
Yeah.
Don't know if this matters, but like playing this game, there was like a shot counter. I don't know exactly what that is for, but I don't remember seeing that in other games. I don't know if other games have that.
It's funny. Like, I don't.
It's just like a stat.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't remember that of the era. Like, I don't think the EA equivalent had a shot counter that was so prevalent. This one was very prevalent. Like, here's how many shots on goal.
I don't know. I like applaud the presentation stuff. Like, even when you're going through season mode and you're simulated, it cuts to like the dude in the booth, and he announces like, "Oh, hey, the Caps won 7-3." But like even in the simulation, like because they cut to that guy, he brings up like the stats for your team and then the stats for the other team, and then sometimes it just goes. He's like, "Thank you, Nintendo Sports Network, for game," or whatever. But then sometimes like he'll shout out like, "There were 50 penalty minutes in this game," or "Hey, number 12, the Capitals scored a hat trick," or something dumb like that. So like there was this weird attention to broadcasting for this game, even like during simulation stuff. Now, of course, the games today have that. I mean, sometimes I think they overdo it with the amount of like it cut to replays and things like that prevent you from skipping or whatever. So I can't say like that's something that you don't see much today. It's just like I think it was weird for that time, but I don't know. There's not a lot of the games today tackle what this game brought to the table and so much better. Like even gameplay, like as much as I shit on the EA games, like the EA games do play better than this one. Like I can't even bring up gameplay. I don't know. I think it's a game of its era, but it's like really cool and unique for its era. And I don't know, just something I want to put in the time capsule for this year. And I'm glad I got to go back to it.
No, I agree. Like I'm happy to have finally played it because it reminded me how much I did used to love hockey, for a lot of different reasons. But I guess in light of recent news, do you think that you need the NHL license to actually make a good hockey video game?
No, but it won't sell, unfortunately. But no, it's my answer.
Is it time for NHL to pull out of EA?
Well, I don't think that's the issue. I think they're just the only ones making the game. Like 2K, I think, has a NHL something on phones. I just don't think... I don't know if they're barred from the license or from the console space, or they're just not doing it because... I mean, let's just face it. I mean, one of the reasons why NHL doesn't improve over year is because it's a small development team, because it sells the least of the big four. Well, I guess third best because they don't have an NBA game, or whenever they do announce one, it never comes out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like it's not Madden. It doesn't sell like Madden. It doesn't sell like FIFA. So, I don't know. I think we're just kind of stuck.
Is there something that no hockey game has done yet that you're looking for in a hockey game?
No, not that I can think of, because you kind of got to be a pro, and they did revamp it in last year's game. I played a little bit of it. It was a decent revamp. Franchise mode stuff is super good. It's just the menuing that sucks, but I guess something you can get over. And I don't know, gameplay is there. I think it's more AI issues than it is like the gameplay. Like the mechanics and stuff are all there. It's just like, you know, you can easily manipulate AI to kind of make them do what you want them to do, so create your own opportunities. I'm talking about the opposition. You controlling your AI is another issue. Yeah, I not that I can think of.
Mark, what gets you excited about a modern hockey game? What would be the...
all the wrong reasons, probably.
No, this is good. This is what I want. Right, because it sounds like the modern NHL games, while not perfect, are serviceable to an NHL
they
fan.
Hit the check marks.
Someone who's... Yeah. But for someone who's not, like, here's where I'm at. I saw that NHL game hit Game Pass this week, and I'm like, I could do that. I could play a couple of those and then move on and forget about it and whatever. But, like, I am highly anticipating Super Mario Strikers. And I'm thinking about, like, boy, if they could do a hockey. But, I mean, like, where are you at with that, Mark?
Yeah, I think, like, probably something that has a more, like, arcadey approach to it, like a NFL Blitz or something, kind of flavor to it. I want a hockey game to be a secret contender in Evo.
Oh yeah.
Like
good.
I want to be able to put the skates on my hands.
Yeah.
You know, like this is ridiculous. Like I want a fighting game hidden within the hockey game. Like I want that meta.
I feel like NHL Hits kind of had that. I mean, I remember the Genesis one really leaning into the fighting stuff. Now, did either of you get into fights in this game, NHL Stanley Cup? Because I don't know that it.
I
don't think it had fights. I don't think it did.
No, you just got yeeted like 30 feet off camera. Like That was about it.
I
Yeah, but
loved just like there are a couple different character models, and usually the defenders or like the ones that can hit are just massive, and you just see them coming, and you're like, oh well, I'm done. Like you just whoop, and then you're just across, it's across the ice.
It was pretty good.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Joe.
No. I wasn't. I just that was one letdown of this is not having the fighting system, because when I think hockey, I think of so many things, but fighting is definitely a part of that.
I am curious though with you two. Like, is there a certain do you have a certain way of trying to make a goal?
Yeah, it's always like pulling. It's the dumbest, rudest, stupidest, and like Matt would know every way to counter this because he actually understands hockey. Mine is go one way, make goalie think I go that way, go other way, throw puck. Right? Like
it's a strategy.
Yeah.
That's kind of like how in these types of games you kind of have to manipulate the gameplay that way, right? And you kind of do that in current games now. I could not pull off a one-timer in this game, but usually a cross-crease one-timer is a go-to most hockey games. But I could not pull off a pass and shoot without like holding the puck for a second or two. So I don't know if I could pull that off or not. When I was looking up the controls, I think I ended up on not Wikipedia, but one of those great Wikia, like that terrible wiki site or whatever. Yeah. And in the hints thing, I guess there is a glitch or some kind of manipulation where if you dump the puck in, like, or do like a slap shot of the goalie, like from right outside the blue line before you enter, the puck will flip over the goalie and in from time to time. So I was trying to do that every now and then. I couldn't get it, but I was definitely getting like the flipping animation. It just wouldn't go over him. Like the animation was kind of like the goalie couldn't handle the puck at first and was like just kind of killing the rebound.
Yeah, juggling it.
Yeah.
That I in this game in particular, I did kind of have that approach too, where I realized the goalie was very good at getting in front of the puck from whatever angle I went to, and it was difficult because of the way the AI kind of swarms you to do my method of go right, cut left, shoot. The goalie would either the other players would stop me or the goalie would quickly navigate around and block it. So I did find myself more often than not trying to, not that you can really tell the AI to go with you, but like trying to coax one along with me, shoot knowing I was not going to score, but let it bounce off and then swoop in with the other player and try and take the shot. And that worked out sometimes. But yeah, did you have a go-to like approach for shooting?
Shoot it from half court, baby. Hope for the best.
Well, according to that wiki, you were probably doing better offense than us.
It was that's all I could do because like they would just be so crowding, and like every time like if you're the goalie trying to shoot it back out, like chances are it landed with the other team like almost immediately. Yeah. So like I feel like that's all I could do was just like shoot that, but then that was just me relying on that button too much. So I was trying to figure out the other buttons, and I stopped doing that. But
I didn't get to pull this off much, but when I started kind of dumping the puck a little bit more, I noticed like sometimes the goalie would go behind the net and miss the puck. So I always felt like there was an opportunity there, like for like a quick wraparound or something like that. But like I only did it a handful of times, and like once or twice he screwed it up. It was like enough where it was like, if I keep doing this, I bet you I can manipulate this if I figured out like the best way to kind of pull that off.
What team do you think I picked?
Oh, that's a great question. Ooh, shoot.
The Canucks.
What's their
cool logos?
What's their logo?
They have that. It's like an orange. It's almost like a screaming eagle, I think, but it's not like the eagle is like Vancouver. I think going across the on a diagonal. Trying to think what other
sounds cool, but I didn't think
what other cool.
The St. Louis Blues.
Oh, I forgot about those. Who's all in this game? Because there's like teams that are not around anymore, like Quebec, Hartford.
Yeah.
I will say that I picked the Pacific region.
Was it the Mighty Ducks?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, duh. I should have, yeah. How dumb am I?
I mean, I don't know jack about it, other than the movies and the animated cartoon series. That's nothing to do with hockey, but
Or everything to do with hockey, if you think about it.
I believe this is the year they're the expansion team, too. I think 93, 94 is their first year.
But I did own a jersey.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. I just like that logo.
Did it say Goldberg on the back, or was it an actual player?
No, I think it was just a generic Mighty Ducks thing. It was from Kids R Us. I don't know,
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. It's cool. Just duck shaped hockey mask, man. And
it's a good fit. I really forgot having now played this and the other one this week. But playing this reminded me like how good 90s logos really were.
Mm-hmm.
There's some... maybe we're headed back there now. Like if you start to look at just logo trends in general, like this is something I find myself fascinated by in the last couple of years. It's just like the graphic design of things. But I remember like when, I don't know, MasterCard redesigned their logo a couple years ago. Like, there's a couple of companies that like went with this like simplistic approach and that kind of thing. And so many companies kind of like aped that, right? They started removing all the vowels from their names and they started simplifying their logos to single color or dual color, but very simple shapes. And seeing this, like we had that, but you also had some, like, I feel like by the early 2000s, it got way too complicated. You look at like certain, especially sports logos, there's like a lot of lines drawn, there's a lot of colors, there's a lot of shapes, a lot of interaction where everything kind of got peeled back a good bit. But I feel like now we're getting back somewhere between the 90s and the 2000s in terms of visual design. And this was a good reminder of like just some good stuff. Like it was the team that was it the Winnipeg Jets? Is that who it was? Like they got a great logo in this.
It's like
Right.
white,
Something.
red, and blue, right? Just
Yeah,
those jets.
but like just simple and clean little whoop. Yeah.
something just hit me, and I sad I didn't pick them. There's actually a hockey team I definitely would have picked. I think it's a hockey team. Pretty sure it is. I don't know if they were around. I don't know if it's even national. Coyotes? Arizona Coyotes?
Yeah, they would not be in this game, but yes.
Okay. Okay. Never mind. I don't regret it then. But, yeah. Just because of Coyotes. But
Yeah, no, they're good.
I can't remember.
There's the Krakens now too, right?
Seattle, yes, the Kraken.
Kraken, sorry. Yeah. Pretty good.
I-
Is there a team that you root for outside of the Capitals, Matt?
Usually I resort to players at that point. Like there's like players I like to watch because they're just fun to watch, entertaining, or like a good goalie that's makes incredible saves. So like kind of like after the Caps, I kind of follow like a few players and just a couple teams that you haven't seen in a while, either that are in the playoffs. Like I'll root for them a little bit more. But no one really specific outside of the Caps, really.
I mean, Mark, it feels like the Coyotes would probably be the one for you, but
So
anybody else you...
I want to give you guys a fun fact about the Coyotes if we're going to talk about NHL. So they are in a stadium hell where I don't think the owner of the team wants to pay for a new stadium, and then the city of Phoenix doesn't really want to pay for a new stadium. So their lease in whatever stadium they're in now is expiring, and they are literally playing at like Arizona State's college.
Oh, wow.
Their stadium, I think like the next 2-3 years at least, and it only seats like 5,000 people or something ridiculous. It is such a small stadium. It's going to be the most bizarre thing starting next year. So stay tuned on that one.
Do you feel like that will lead to a relocation of the team?
all those Canadian cities that lost their teams that you see in this game, like Quebec, Hartford, like I think they're dying for a team to get back up there, especially just for the Canadian market. I wouldn't be shocked if you see, but they really want to keep a team in that Phoenix area because Phoenix actually become like this like destination city real quick. I feel like out of the blue. So I think they want to keep a team in that Arizona market, but I don't know. They got to get that all worked out. But yeah, like Quebec, I think is like the next like Canadian city in line that really wants a team, and I think they're mad that America keeps getting the teams. Because you got Vegas and Seattle as your expansion, so
yeah.
And then one other dumb thing, I love that they got Wayne Gretzky and Patrick Roy on the cover of this game without it being Wayne Gretzky or Patrick Roy. That's like the best thing in the world.
Did they airbrush out their names in the back of the jerseys, or they're just bent over enough that you can't really tell, right?
Well, yeah, Patrick Roy straight on. I'm looking at the box art. He's straight on, like square to the puck, so you really would only see his chest like emblem anyway. But Wayne Gretzky's leaned over it enough where you should see his name washed out, just a white, black. But they got that Kings logo on the helmet right there, front and center, to show you, hey, we have the teams.
Yeah, you know.
But they did stay honest to numbers and like stats and stuff. So like if you play with the Kings and you're skating around with number 99, you're probably skating around with the best player in the game in all of hockey. The Capitals number 12 right wing, that is Peter Bondra, and he is very good. So I was like making sure I was getting him the puck as much as possible. So yeah, even without like the names, they had enough of their likeness if you kind of knew your numbers.
Right. Yeah, this, like, I think genuinely, like, I'll probably play around with this a little bit, but I've got a hockey itch now. I don't know if I want to watch hockey or play that 22. I don't know what I want to do, but I need to do something. I got to get this out of me. Really what I want is like a Sonic hockey. That would, like a proper, I'm not talking like one of the Olympics, just like,
okay.
Yeah, I know. But like I think if we did like a Mario Striker style game, but with Sega characters, that's what I want. So if someone can get on that, please. I don't know. What direction would you recommend, Matt? Someone who, you know, if someone's following along this season, they played some Stanley Cup, they had a good time, they want more. Just go watch a playoff game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much of the playoffs are going to be left, but like, you know, watch the Cup Finals because you'll see some entertainment hockey. It's a very heavy, hard hitting, and a lot of scrums after the whistle. Because when you see the same team potentially, well, definitely 4 times, but potentially up to 7 times in a row, you don't like each other by the time you get to that point. So it's just a little bit of chippiness to it. But as far as a game, there are all kinds of different ways to play the core NHL games, especially if you have Game Pass. It's worth playing. That arcade threes mode is kind of interesting. I think you would have to play online for that, but that is interesting. Doing the EASHL stuff, doing the like dropping. You don't have to get yourself in the club, but like do some drop-ins. Or that subreddit is pretty active in recruiting members for teams, and they will say like, "Hey, we were trying to be D1," or "Hey, we just like to play after work." So like you always find some. That's how I like when I got into it. Like I found some people through that subreddit, and I actually played with them for like 3 or 4 years in a row.
Yeah, you were in it for a good bit.
Nice.
So, like, there's avenues to make that game funner because there are different types of ways to play it. And you can always change the rule sets. You can change the tuners to make it a very arcadey experience. So, like, it can service to what you want for it to be. I would love Mario or a Sonic or something dumb kind of hockey, like just Sonic just blitzing down the wing with the puck. I think it would be dumb. Have Shenmue as a goalie, but he's not the goalie. It's just him with the tractor with the boxes on it. Like literally pull that model from Oh no, it's not.
Sonic
We
All-Stars.
always mix up this. It's him playing the driving game. Outrun.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
Outrun.
Ryu playing.
Is it Outrun?
I think
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but like, no, maybe for this one, we finally pull that model in that we've been talking about with that game, where he just has warehouse and just make him move it up and down to save pucks.
He's driving the what's it called? A Zamboni.
Oh, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty good. Big the cat defense just hooks people all the time. We could have some fun. Let Mario have the soccer space. I can give Sega a little bit of hockey.
You know what? Yeah. Can you download Unity today? We'll get started right now. Let's get going. For our 20th episode of Season 10, it ends like the rest with a ranking. You can follow along with the list over at thefreecheese.com/thelist. We're going to figure out where our 20th game ranks among the others. This is a tough one, but I think I've got a good spot for it. I don't know if I want to lead. I liked last week not having to lead. That was nice.
I feel like,
Matt,
really? I feel like I lead a lot.
So
Yeah,
I guess
maybe
it's
you're
me
right.
then.
Well, I will say Matt made a very provocative suggestion.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
number
know if
one
you were
for
legitimate
sure.
about that. Or
No,
not.
fuck no.
Okay. For the listeners not following along at home, because there's no way you could have, Matt sent a message. What said, "If this isn't the new number one, something."
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, he threatened us. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like since I threatened, I have to take the lead now. No, I've been doing this year these games in like a scope of 2022, which makes it like impressive as it was probably back then. I was too young to kind of put it into perspective then, but
Sure.
Like in the year 2022, it's a tough one to kind of pick up and play, but it's a tough one with so many different options out there to revisit. And like we kind of said this a couple times, where it's like, is it still the best in its genre? Like we looked at WW No Mercy, and like for it being on the 64 is probably still the best wrestling game. Period. Same thing we did with kind of ESPN NFL football, like. PS2, but is probably in the top 3 best ever football games, right? Like, I can't make that argument for this game. I think it's fun. I think it's unique, but I don't think it's, like, top-tier hockey game. So, because of that, I can't put it above ESPN NFL football. And then, like, I look at, like, Devil's Crush. Like, I don't want to put above that because I like that. Like, I can keep coming back to that. So, like, I don't know. I think Sunset is a better game than this. So, I kind of have it fallen to in that sandwich between Sunset and ESPN, X Games skateboarding, that is.
I was a little bit higher, but I guess you're pulling me back down. I was like, I don't know, like right around Perfect Dark, like either right below Perfect Dark or above it. But Mark, what are you thinking?
I don't know whether to put it above or below Billy Hatcher. Because though this game is playable and you can finish it, I just couldn't see it. While Billy Hatcher, I could see.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Could you though? There were some terrible camera angles.
But it was true 3D, and I could manage.
Sure.
But it wasn't that playable for me in the end. Yes, I don't. The sounds and music aren't annoying and hot.
Okay.
Well, that's the thing too. There was no music.
There was an organ playing here and there.
Oh yeah, when the game would start do 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 do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that main menu music though, that kind of pops. Not gonna.
It's a
not
good
gonna
pop,
lie.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The crowd boos you when you push people, but they cheer when they push you.
Well, that's just a home team advantage. Don't get too bent out of shape about that.
It's very mean. I'm a sensitive person. Put it above Billy Hatcher because I actually did complete a whole match of this, so I feel like I completed the game in a way.
I didn't think it'd be that low, but if you guys are both, you're thinking.
I mean,
Matt,
like, jokes
you think
aside,
ESPN over this.
like jokes aside, I really like. I could not visually comprehend this game. Like, I actually had trouble.
Yeah,
I get that.
I get that
for sure. Yeah.
So I thought that alone would have been enough to just put it at the bottom for me, but that still feels too mean for some reason. But yeah, that would be 19th place, I guess.
Are you good with it there, Matt?
Where do you end up putting it?
Right at 19, right above Billy, below
Right, okay.
X Games.
I guess you could put it above X Games too. I could make the argument for that too.
I think I like it over X Games. I think I might like it over Sunset.
I'm not gonna disagree.
But yeah, maybe Devil's Crush is where it stops. Maybe it's the new 17. Unless, Matt, you feel like strongly about Sunset.
I definitely don't feel strongly about Sunset. So I'm kind of in the marks. Like it could go either place. ESPN NFL football is my like real benchmark here. Like, I can't put this above.
Yeah,
that.
like hockey, it doesn't offend me. What the game's trying to do isn't offensive. So
Just the Mode 7.
yeah, it's just the technical limitations, unfortunately.
No, that I'm with you, Mark. Like especially like I said this earlier, but like the neutral zone, like the puck keeps getting turned over, and you're doing circles for 3 seconds in a row. Like
man.
it is
It's
very
like,
disorienting.
Yeah, it's very whiplashy. But
Well, there you have it.
I've had worse.
That's been NHL Stanley Cup. Enjoy yourself some NHL Stanley Cup. The game, the TV show coming soon. And if you want more of the free cheese talking about video games from the past and then ranking them, look no further than next week, episode 456, where we talk about Matt is fist pumping. The seminal Tokyo Jungle. Very, very excited about Tokyo Jungle. So come back for that one next week. Until then, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener, for listening. Get hockey. Bye.